Alright guys, welcome back to the shack, and today I wanted to kind of do a follow-up to the video I did the other day about some of the small items that I sell at the different events and craft shows or whatever that I may attend anytime I'm selling things. Now, I am probably my worst critic, guys, and after doing some of my videos and looking back at my display and going to these events and seeing what other people do, I realized that the way that I had my products out there was not the best. It looked a little thrown together. It wasn't as organized and neat as it needed to be. It also made for a little bit of a challenging time getting everything set up because I've got to place all these small things everywhere. So since this event that I've got coming up is a really big event, I decided to, while I was building inventory in one machine, because I was using my small enclosure to do all the small items on the engrave, I decided while I was doing that, what better way to use my time than to design some files and put my big machine to work cutting out displays and ways of presenting those items to make my shop look a little more professional, a little more organized, and catch eyes a little bit better. So today, I kind of want to follow up on the small items with how to set it up or how to make things look. And guys, if you're wanting to do events and you're not going to these events already and walking around and looking and seeing what other people are doing and trying to learn from them, then you need to be doing that. Because like I said, my career has not really afforded me the opportunity to run a storefront. So I'm having to learn this thing. So as I move forward, I try to progress, I try to learn, and I try to better myself. So today I want to go and show you, I've got most of my inventory, it's still in the shop. I'm about to go load it into the trailer and get everything stowed away. But first, I kind of wanted to go through some of the things that I do, some of the ideas that I've came up with for presenting the merchandise at my booth that, in my opinion, just kind of makes things look a lot better and flow a little better. And it is overwhelming now looking at this compared to what my booth looked like for the past, year. So gotta grow, guys, gotta grow. Never quit trying to improve upon your craft. That's one tip for today. So you can mark that down. Clack Shack tip of the day. Never stop trying to improve your craft. Always try to get better and try to think outside the box and come up with other ways. So, all right, guys, so that you can get a little better look with the camera, I'm having to kind of get down on the knee here. But these are the displays that I've came up with for the different items that I sell. This before, I would just take and lay these on my table. And it was a little unorganized, a little hard to see the text because it depended on which way the pins were laying and all. So I decided I needed a way to present them to people. And this is what I come up with, right? All right. This is the final product. The other two were prototypes, but in the spirit of not wasting materials, I decided to recycle them and make me kind of a stackable box and put these inside there. These are the refills that go with the pins, and I got like this neat little storage area under here now. But this is the final product that I came up with the box. It's very simple. I basically just took a box and modified it, put some notches in there, changed the angle on the sides, and just made it a display. This thing, for the most part, now I've been playing with them. For the most part, I can move this around. I can take these and put them in, put them in the truck or whatever. If I press them in like this, they kind of stay. So that makes it a little easier to transport the pins, and especially if I want to put them in an even bigger box and just stack a bunch of them in there. So I thought that was a pretty good idea, and it looks pretty good. The only thing that I didn't do was I didn't come up the back of it with any kind of pricing or anything. I probably should have put that here, but it is in the bottom of the box. So I wanted to not block other things because I want to be able to sit these things and space them so people can see what exactly I've got. Now, these are my little bamboo cutting boards. I get these things off of Amazon. This one has not been cleaned. This is straight off the laser. I do take these in the house and hit them with some soapy water because with bamboo, especially if it gets hot, a lot of times you'll get this glazing. It's almost like a sap or something comes out of the bamboo. I find that it does that more in the darker areas than it does in the light areas. But a little soapy water, you know, Dawn dishwashing detergent, that comes off. This is a file I created. I bought a bunch of them off of Etsy and places that they worked, but they weren't functional for what I do. These are my 9-inch stands. They work really good with these bigger cutting boards and stuff that I make. But the thing that I like about these is these just simply come apart. That way, when I'm packing my stuff up at events, I can pack these like this instead of having to leave them together. When I get ready to use them, you simply line the notches up right here, and they snap together. They're not permanent, but they're pretty resilient. So those work really well for, you know, quick setup and breakdown, and storage is a lot better because they are, you know, both pieces together is only around 10 millimeters because this is 4.9 millimeter material that I'm using here. So that just makes things better. So when I get ready to break down my shop, all I got to do, pull these two pieces, and then I can stack these guys just like this. Here's another one of the cutting boards. And so all you got to do is pull these things apart. You don't have to worry about matching them up, or you don't have to worry about breaking them. There's another one. But I sold a few of those the last event, so I'm having to restock. But there you go, guys. There's that entire three cutting board display. There it is. And I can store these with these in my little tubs that I use. And when I get ready to set this up, they're right there, ready to go. So this was another one I came up with. I do pet tags, but I've always had my pet tags on my keychain stand, which kind of hid them from view. Nobody knew I did pet tags. And I will tell you this, pet tags are an especially popular item with people who have small animals or small dogs. You can even get into doing like a Merry Christmas. You can promote Christmas dog tags or whatever, so that, you know, these folks that have the dogs that carry with them in places, they can have their name on there, their phone number, whatever. You can just do decorative ones for seasonal stuff. I've done all kinds, but this is more or less to get the word out at my booth that, hey, I do these. And I couldn't come up with a better way of being able to illustrate that than to make myself a little dog that wouldn't run away, and make him a collar and put one of those on there. So that was just an idea that I came up with when I was trying to figure out how to better let people know what the products were. So got that guy done. I really like that one. Oh, and the cool thing about this is, guys, this is not, this also is not permanently attached. It is a very snug fit, but it basically, the dog can come out and you can set him here. Now, I'm probably just gonna leave it together because I have plenty of storage in the trailer, but you just line that thing up, press it in, and voila, the dog is ready to go. So I'm probably gonna leave him in one piece because I've got a nice little shelf I can put him on, and it's light, so it's not gonna fly around anywhere. So I'm probably gonna leave him like that. But I'm gonna set all this stuff over here because, like I said, guys, I'm fixing to load this stuff in the trailer and move on to another task. Several people have asked me about my magnetic bottle opener holder, and I was trying to come up with a way of making something to use to display these where you could see them and people could easily pick them up, look at them, and put them back. And I had gotten some of these little magnets. I found a good deal at one of the Dollar Tree stores, and I bought these magnets thinking they were adhesive magnets to use for other things like refrigerator magnets and stuff like that. Well, it turns out they weren't. And so I got to where I never would use them because I did have some that were peel and stick. And so when I built this, I decided to go ahead and use those magnets because I could Gorilla Glue them, and you know, I didn't have to worry about them coming off in the future. And it just, it holds a little better than the adhesive pads. So I made that one. This is the same way as the dog. If I wanted to break this display down, you can take these off. Because of the fact that it's just two pieces. This is literally just a box joint here on the bottom. Now it is very tight. When I build these files, I set the kerf a little extra to make sure that they will stay together without glue. So when I can pack this away like this in my display box, and then when I get to the event, all I've got to do Just turn it over, line up the little teeth here, and give it a nice little bump. And now the display's back together, and I can put my bottle top openers on there relatively easy. So I try to make most of my stuff flat pack in the tubs, because tubs are a good way of tracking stuff, keeping it together, and transporting it. So this one I will probably be flat packing. Probably the dog too. I'm gonna put it all in my display tabletop holder, because these are relatively easy to load. Now, another one that I had was my dog tags. So I wanted to come up with a way of putting the dog tags up there to where people could look at them. These are, I'll show you. These are just stainless steel dog tags. These are the really heavy ones. I bought them, and it took me a little while to figure out exactly how to get them to engrave like I wanted them to. But now that I've got the power settings figured out, they come out really nice. They look good. And I'm really, really, really happy with the results that I'm getting. I did these with the Whizmaker, but I have done them with other 20-watt machines as well. But I wanted to come up with a way that I could display them without it being too crowded. I want to keep the front of the display sleek, but I also wanted it to where people can't just, you know, grab these things and walk off with them, because let's face it, guys, that does happen. So what I did is I cut this file, and I cut these holes to where these are just friction drove in. I mean, there's no glue on these dowel pins. Took a piece of dowel, took it over to the bandsaw, cut them as close to the same length as I could, drove them in, hit them with a sander on the front to make sure they had nice smooth finish on the front, and put this together. This one will also come apart, but the problem with this one is with the pins on the back, it's not gonna lay flat. So I'm probably gonna leave this one standing up just like I do with my keychain holder, and just put it on the shelf. But that's that one. And then guys, this one's been with me for a long time. This is one of my earlier designs. It started out life as a K-cup carousel for holding K-cups, and I have that file in my Etsy shop. But then I got to needing a keychain rack, because I have another one of these at a local business that's kind of a tourist attraction, where I make these keychains and I keep them on hand for them for people to purchase. And so I made the one for there, but then when I started doing events, I decided I needed one for myself. So I created this file here. And this one actually, like I said, it's all wood. Everything on this is made with a laser, with the exception of this little piece of MDF that I recycled from a countertop somewhere. I don't remember where. And the wooden dowel that runs the length of it. The rest of these pieces are completely laser cut. And yes, I do sell the file on my Etsy shop if you're interested in it. And there's a video associated with it. It's an older video, but there is a video associated with how to make it. And what I've done, in the top here, there's a hook, basically a couple of key rings. This key ring keeps this part from sliding off. And then this one's just big enough where I can get my finger in it and use it as a handle so that I can carry this thing. So that's the display. I've had this display ever since I started doing events, but it was getting crowded with me adding the different variety of keychains and stuff to it. It started getting crowded, so that's when I wanted to try to diversify and move dog tags and stuff other places. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to do a follow-up. Some of the pictures, if you've seen pictures of my setup before at events, it was okay, it was functional, it worked, but it did not look as clean or as creative as I wanted it to look. If nothing else, some of the displays, especially the dog display, that is going to be a bit of a conversation piece. I can see people asking me, did I make that display, and can I make others, or can I do this, or can I do that? But I wanted my booth, when people saw it, I wanted it to be an explosion of laser created, stuff. I've got a lot of sawmill based woods on there and so forth, but since the laser has kind of came front and center with my operation, I wanted it to be obvious that, hey, this guy makes things with lasers. And I think the displays worked out really nice. I think it's going to look good. The Peach Jam is going to be this coming up Saturday here in Chilton County, Alabama. And if you're nearby, guys, if you're, want a road trip and you want to come to Clanton, Alabama and come visit with the Clack Shack, come on by. Might even give you a free keychain, But if you're interested in any of the files, most of the files are in my Etsy shop already. There's a few that I haven't uploaded because I've been making some tweaks and changes, and I don't like releasing the files until they're absolutely correct. Any of the boxes or displays that I have that I built here, I typically use 4.9 millimeter Luan. I buy it in 4x8 sheets at a big box store, cut it up, and that's what I use. And I know people say it's horrible wood, but guys, I've had good luck with it. This stuff is sturdy. I don't have any problems, so that's what I use. So if you do go and you do download those files, just keep in mind, I designed those for 4.9. Will it work for a little thinner or a little thicker? Yes. You may want to sand it to kind of get the, any kind of gaps or joints or whatever corrected. But for the most part, anywhere from 4.5 to a little over 5, you should be good in using these files to put the wood together. The only problem is you're not going to get the exact fit on the slots for the teeth where the panels stand in there. So if you did have to use a different size material, I would recommend going a little bit bigger and then just sanding those teeth a little bit to get them to get that snug fit as opposed to having it loose. This is going to be what's on my tabletop, my initial tabletop. Now I do keep a folding table beside me with charcuterie boards and some of my homemade products that I use off of my sawmill. But as far as the actual top of my machine or top of my table, where my machine is located, this is gonna be my go-to. And I'll let you guys know how it works out. Hopefully I'll be able to get some video of that event and share it with you. May even try to stream up a little live while we're there, but we're gonna see how busy it is and how the weather is before we make that decision. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, turn on the notification, all that jazz. Also, guys, I'm really trying hard to get my Facebook page built up. That thing is really crawling and in growth as compared to the YouTube channel. I do share a lot of photos. I do have a lot of ability to communicate with you better through Facebook. So if you find yourself wanting to message me or whatnot, that would be better for messaging me. And like I've got folks that I'm actually helping fix machines today through Facebook Messenger. So if that's something that you think you might want to do, go on over to the Facebook page at the Clack Shack and hit that like, follow button, and you'll be able to keep up with me there as well as communicate. Also, before we go, our laser engraver community group, myself and Steve over at Ventari's Workshop have been working together and collaborating to create a community for guys that do this kind of thing, and we try to share our knowledge and information and share our skills to an extent with you guys to help you enjoy the hobby that is laser engraving, cutting, woodworking, pretty much all things woodworking. So if that's something you're into, go look that group up. It's going to be the laser engraving community. You'll know it because you see a lot of me and Steve in there. There are going to be some questions you're going to have to ask to keep all the spam bots out, but I promise you it's nothing too intensive. And we also will be doing our Sunday night lives every week, Sunday night at 7 p.m. Other than maybe the occasional, vacation or family trip or emergency or something that comes up, it's going to be every Sunday night, guys. And we have a lot of good people in there, a lot of good content. Try to have a little fun with it. So if you want to come sit down with like-minded people and listen to folks talk about lasers and making things and running their own business, that might be for you. So come check it out. But until next time, be safe and have a good day.